Oh, how's it going, Bruce? Today we're going to be checking out a game called Murder Most Misfortunate. This is a visual novel that came out a little while ago. It's not super old or anything, but it's one I've been meaning to get around to for a while. I hope I've got the audio mixing right there, because it seems like it's quite loud and it has no settings. So yeah, I think Questline was the one to point this one out as well, just like the last one. So 2 in a row. I don't know how long it is or really what to expect, but it does look very promising. Let's jump in, shall we? Real-time mystery. When enabled, you'll have to solve the mystery within a limited time period. A clock will appear in the top right corner during sections where this time limit is counting down. Do we like tension? Maybe if this was a stream, that might be good. But honestly, I'm not bothered for a video. Let's just jump in. I'm guessing we're gonna have some difficult puzzles to wet our teeth on. Wait, is that a I don't know if that's a thing you say. Yeah, I know. Okay. Oh, volume and text speed. Well, there you go. Let's just crank down the master volume just a tad. I feel like it's quite loud. You know, audio mixing is the hardest part of YouTubing. It's true. Use the scroll wheel when hovering over this text box to see what was previously. Cool. Yep. I get you.
My dear Misfortunate, I hope this letter finds you well. I did so enjoy our little discussion of the work of Guy de Mauvaisier the last time we met.
It's voice acted? Holy crap. Wow, okay, I didn't know that. Jesus. And it has French words that I don't have to say because it's voice acted. That's good too. Auto.
I would like to cordially invite you to an intimate gathering of mine on the evening of the 27th.
Sounds like fucking Vlad the Impaler.
We'll be celebrating my recent acquisition of a rather unique historical property, and I think you are just the one to properly appreciate it. I look forward to your RSVP in the affirmative. Most sincerely yours, Prince Titanico.
It was at an art auction, I think, that I first met Prince Titanico. He seemed to think the world of himself. I, quite frankly,
because he's a Titanic prince.
But if I only accepted social invitations from people I thoroughly approved, I wouldn't dine out very often.
Judgy, are we? I see. Manor grounds.
I stepped onto the curb from my limo and laid eyes on the place for the first time. Gothic gargoyles loomed ominously over the old house, and creeping vines wound their way up its walls, as though trying to strangle it.
The rain effect looks great. Just saying.
The prince had been right. It really was to my taste.
It's lovely.
Good evening, ma'am. May I have your name?
Ugh, this hulking thug, on the other hand, not so much. Fortune. Misfortune.
Is the miss a first name or a title?
Like Little Misfortune. I like it.
Oh, I like to leave that to the imagination. Now you must be the butler, so why don't you buttle on and show me inside? The evening is a bit damp, I dare say.
Get to butling.
I'm not a butler, just a valet. My name is Klops.
Oh my, what a terrible shame. Well, butler, or valet, you do open doors, don't you?
When the need arises.
Yes, ma'am. Right this way.
He's gonna murder you and you're gonna deserve it. I feel like we're playing his hair though, right?
From the cobwebs in the corners and the dust on the railings, it was obvious that the house had been abandoned for some time. Some high society guests might have been insulted to be invited to a venue in such ill repair, but it didn't bother me. I realized that the house had been preserved as it was for the effect.
What effect? Stubbing your toe on one of those rocks?
Misfortune has arrived.
Ah, Misfortune. Good evening. There are refreshments on the side table. Please do help yourself.
That's some good voice acting.
Why, thank you. So, are you the butler? Or are you going to tell me you're just, I don't know, the concierge?
Butler? No.
Sounds like a journalist.
I'm not a servant. I am a close friend and trusted advisor to our dear prince.
Fancy.
The grand magus of his court, if you will. My name is Horatio.
White knew him well.
Charmed, I'm sure.
My dear Misfortune, how are you, darling? It's so good to see you again.
Comtesse de Clecitra. Yes, it's been just ages, hasn't it? I should have known you to be here. You're never one to miss an event on the social circuit.
I dare say I needed something to cheer me up after my late husband's funeral. And an evening like this is just the thing.
My late husband's funeral was just ghastly.
Of course. I was so sorry to hear about your husband. This is your 4th time a widow, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my god, she's killing them.
So, and for you, 9, I believe?
She's definitely killing them.
Ah, yes. They just keep dropping dead, the poor dears. It's so hard to find a good man with stamina these days.
Well, that is not very becoming of a lady.
Perhaps I'm cursed.
Me? Cursed? Nonsense. I seem to be doing just fine. But maybe I am bad luck.
Your name is Misfortune, so yeah, it's probably fair.
Let me see. What exactly was it that we last saw each other? It must have been at the Emperor's ball.
Heavens, yes! Wasn't that quite the affair?
So much better than my husband's funeral.
One of the waiters spilled a tray of champagne all over Duchess Reese's dress.
Oh, yes. That was positively scrumptious, wasn't it? I mean, a shame about the dress, of course. I heard she had it made just for the ball. Such a pity.
Well, given how many people come out nowadays, it was bound to happen to someone. I even heard the poor servant say he was sure he felt someone in the crowd give him a little shove. Can you imagine?
Sure.
These people are so fucking dramatic.
High lords and ladies were talking about. No doubt the man is just making excuses for his clumsiness.
You're probably right. Just an unlucky accident, I'm sure.
He accidentally brutally stabbed himself 13 times while shaving.
Misfortune, welcome. I'm so delighted that you could come. I trust Horatio has been keeping you entertained.
Oh, yes. La Comtesse and I were just scandalizing your court jester. Or was he a wizard? In any case, scandalizing him with our intimate marriage details.
Of course you will. So tell me, what do you think of the house? I must admit, when I first came into this little period piece, I immediately thought of you.
Why, are you saying we're falling apart?
It seems melancholy, mysterious, and maybe just a little macabre. So yes, I quite like it so far.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. I will take you on a more detailed tour shortly, but we are still waiting for more guests to arrive.
He's the most dramatic of them all. Look at his mask.
And what timing! Here they are now.
Miss Charisse and Miss Leah have arrived, sir.
Exciting. Well, they don't look very happy.
Is that the Charisse? The industrial heiress? The one who's been throwing all those charity balls ever since she came into her fortune?
The very same.
Well, you're gonna talk shit about her now.
My beautiful Charisse, please come in. Without you, this place is dark and drab, but your radiance rekindles it anew.
He has a very nice suit, though. I like it.
Too kind. Oh my! I had heard she was seeing someone, but I never imagined it was him.
Indeed. This party just got a little more interesting.
And this must be Leah, the girlhood friend of whom you speak so very highly.
Yeah, nice place you got here. If you like entertaining dead people.
Cool.
Dead people? Yeah, I assure you, fair lady, you are perfectly safe here.
No, we're on to you.
I think it was a critique of the decor, not of our safety.
Leah doesn't mean it. It's a lovely house. Really.
Yeah, I disagree.
On the contrary, Miss Leah may be more right than she knows. Until recently, this mansion was the property of the Lee family. Perhaps you know of them.
Oh yes, who doesn't? A distinguished family of the nobility with a respected pedigree and a long history of public service and political influence.
So, short version, some stuffy old rich people.
Yeah.
Almost all of the estates out here, away from the city, were owned by old families. But many have had to sell over the years. It must be a bit sad for them, leaving all that history behind.
Indeed, and especially so for the Lees. Theirs is a tale of tragedy, and it ends as they so often do, in sorrow and blood.
Exciting.
Oh,
Did you do that on purpose? You're a wizard, right?
Come, the house itself will tell its share of the tale.
That's why he's got a wizard hat on so he can cast lightning or whatever. Just for the mood, you know? It's all about that mood. Sit in that mood. Needs to be raining though.
Smoking room. Did the Lee family use this as a quiet place to relax after their evening meals, I wonder? Or was this the proverbial smoke-filled room where secret deals would be struck and the fates of nations decided?
You know you look like a supervillain when you do that, right?
My attention was drawn to a curio cabinet on one side of the room. Some of the items within rather struck my fancy. This cabinet, are these items originals?
I believe so. I have endeavored to change as little as possible about the house since acquiring it. The Lees were well known as eclectic collectors.
They're eclectic collectors. That sounds good. Rolls off the tongue nicely, you know?
They also say that sorcery ran strongly in the Lee family, you know.
Can they cast lightning?
Great. As if we didn't have enough reason to think this place was owned by a bunch of creepers.
Surely a smart little girl like you doesn't put any stock in old...
She's dressed like a creeper.
Magic and superstitions, no. Weird and creepy people, on the other hand, are plenty real.
It's true.
No need to worry, young lady. You're among good company here.
We will have time to look around in greater detail later, I assure you.
Is that what this is? Like a house tour? That's why we're here?
Moment, follow me, if you would.
I'd like to speak to the real estate agent, please. They need to hire a maid.
They
Fucking hell.
called this the kingdom, home to the master of the house. Now it is as you see it, empty and forlorn, as it waits for a new master to take the place of the old.
It feels so cold.
Milady, I can call for Klops to bring you a sweater.
And while he's at it, perhaps also a textbook on metaphorical versus literal language.
Oh man, I hate our character.
You are so kind, but I'm fine. It's just the atmosphere of this place.
The Lees were among our most powerful families before the Imperial Revolution. But like most of the old guard at the time, they chose the losing side.
Wah wah.
In many ways, the family never recovered.
They certainly never recovered financially at the very least. Thus the sale of this very house.
It's almost as if old money runs out if you're not smart with it. Who'd have thought?
I like her.
Quite so. But at least the house has gone to those who can appreciate its history.
She might be the only relatable character here. Can we be her instead? I want to change characters.
This is the Queen bedroom, and it has a fascinating story. It is said that the famous senator
It's doing the thing again.
herself met her end in this very room during the final days of the revolution.
I don't know how to do that. I'm not a supervillain, you see.
Yeah, I remember learning about that. She was one of the staunchest supporters of the Old Republic.
And she was killed here? In her own bedroom? That's so terrible.
By all accounts, she did not go down without a fight.
Nice.
Revolutionary soldiers had stormed the grounds, but none who came in here survived.
They even say that she sustained herself for days on the blood of the soldiers who kept coming for her.
That's pretty cool.
Well, points for ingenuity. I'll grant her that.
That's badass, man.
But that was all a long time ago. There wouldn't still be any blood left here now, or anything.
Yes, that is correct.
Really? With all the red, it's rather difficult to say, isn't it? Who knows how much of it might have soaked into the floor, the walls, the bed.
You are right, my darling Charisse. It is all long past. A good tale for a night of ghost stories, perhaps. But thankfully, these are happier times.
This place sucks, man. I don't want to live here. I hate
Here
it.
we have the dining hall. I see that Klops has left some tea and coffee on the table for us.
Good old Klops.
Orange juice too, I hope. I'm running rather low. All this dry air, you know?
You mean screwdriver?
I'll see to it.
DVNO?
For me, just a spot of black coffee would be wonderful.
This concludes our formal tour of the estate, but our evening is far from over. Tonight, my friends, is more than just a housewarming party.
You're gonna live here? Are you sure about
That
this?
is done. I have a very special announcement to make to you all.
I will be a supervillain.
Don't worry, my dear. You are safe with me.
Thank you. I was just a bit startled.
Until I lower you into the tank with sharks with freaking laser beams on their heads.
Heavens, yes, the light's going out. What horror! I dare say I may faint myself, delicate flower that I am.
I see.
Flower? A noxious weed, perhaps?
Please, Misfortune, allow me. I've got you now.
Oh, what would we do without you? On second thought, you can enhand me. I seem to be quite all right.
Quite alright indeed.
Good, good. Because there's nothing to be worried about. It's just a little blackout.
Mm-hmm. That's
Would
right.
you be so good as to check the breaker bed, my dear Horatio?
Yes, of course. My talents will shed some light on all of us in no time.
You're a fool.
I absolutely adore these old homes. But they do so often have problems with the wiring, don't they?
Excuse me, boss. Sir, there's a telephone call for you.
A call for me? Here? How mysterious. You must excuse me, my dear guest. Klops will fetch some candles for you, so you can look around.
Yes, look sharp, Klops. Chop, chop.
I will return very shortly.
Sorry, I'm just getting into the spirit of being a rich prick.
I wandered back to the king bedroom by myself to take a closer look at some of the decor.
It sucks. The decor is bad. Can we at least get rid of the fucking cobwebs? Oh, I see. I'm actually in control here. I wonder why we're going round and round in circles.
The elaborate carvings on the wooden bedpost intrigued me. Spirits and demons of all sorts circled and surrounded any lord who might sleep in this bed. Was this preferable, I wondered, than sleeping in the arms of Lamaka-Lee, blood drinker as she was rumored to be?
Only people who are trying to kill her. Come on. I think that's fair, right? That's reasonable.
I'd hoped that by taking a closer look at the ruined portrait, I might be able to discern who had been pictured. I could imagine no shortage of delicious reasons why a lord's portrait might be disfigured in a house such as this. Shredded by a bitter servant when the master was thought absent, savaged by an angry child who never quite lived up to expectations. Alas, the portrait seemed more a victim of old age than of some crime of passion, and of the face, I could make out nothing at all.
I like the whole big stuck in a 3D environment thing.
Looks like our court
It's
magician
pretty cool.
has managed to conjure back a little light for us after all.
Reminds me of more freeform VLR, you know? Where I can just move around as I want.
For just the slightest of moments, I considered collapsing into the antique red chair in the room's corner. After all, we'd spent the evening on our feet, traipsing about the house for the prince's little ghost tour. Then I remembered that spiderwebs don't just come out of nowhere, and that upholstery is a prime place for the little nasties to hide. I would have to remember to warn our doe-eyed little angel about that as well. You know, in addition to the possible bloodstains and all.
Not of course it's not to freak her out though, right? It's just because you want to be helpful. Definitely.
Just what kind of skeletons did the Lee family have locked away inside that conspicuous old chest? I must confess, I have a terrible weakness for things that are locked up to keep me out of them.
Me too.
Alas,
That we have in common.
my brother's surprised
First thing.
handy with lockpicks, not me.
Okay, I think we're done looking around. Drapes.
The air in the old house was still and thick with dust. But even had there been a draft, I doubt the black drapes by the room's window would have stirred. Even I was surprised by how thick and heavy the material was. No sunlight would have pierced its way into this room against its occupants' wishes. That much was certain.
Sleeping until lunchtime, baby.
At last I found you, Misfortune. You need to come right away. Please.
Fetch me a feather duster, Chops, or Clops, or whatever your name is. Chop, chop.
Whatever is the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost with that one eye of yours.
There's no time to waste, miss. You should see for yourself.
You look ridiculous in that suit. No offense.
Gathering my skirt, I hurried after the hulking butler. Sorry, valet. Back to the hall where we had first arrived.
He does that, right?
From the urgency in his pace and in his voice, I knew that something had happened. But still...
How many people have been murdered this time? How misfortunate. That's the prince. But he's the
It
supervillain.
was our host, Prince Titanico. He was dead. That alone wouldn't scare me. I was no stranger to dead bodies.
His leg's very broken. That's a fucked up thing to
But
say.
from the way he fell, it was clear that his death was no accident.
I don't know, man. That big dagger wound in his back. I think that formed naturally.
That meant that someone in the mansion was the murderer.
Can I click on it? Can I poke it? Poke it with a stick? Nope. Well then, take all my fun away. Something to poke his stab wound. Jeez. Trying to investigate here.
I found the rest of the ladies. Now, Klops, what is this all about?
Is that a body? Here! Oh, how positively horrid!
Yes.
Ugh! Everyone, shield your eyes! This is not a sight for fair sensibilities.
The other guests stood in the doorway opposite myself and Klops.
Okay. Why are you narrating?
My eyes fell on our oh-so-sensitive ingenue, Charisse. If ever there was a time to faint for real, this was it. But she didn't. She just stared into the room, her eyes wide, glassy, and unblinking.
Somebody needs to call the police!
Yes, ma'am. Right away.
Sorry, that was a funny line. Just the way she said it.
We're ways out to sea.
We shouldn't touch anything. Let's all go back to the dining room and wait for the police to arrive.
No,
What?
We can't just sit and wait. We need to investigate. We need to see the truth with our own eyes.
Agreed.
I'm with you on that, Sherry.
Let's go poke him with a stick.
well, if our precocious little darlings are going to be poking about, I'm certainly not going to be left out.
If you insist, then.
Indeed.
My dears, please do be very careful.
You're the comic relief lady.
Being Contessa, I promise.
That is not what I meant. It could be that whoever did this has not gone far.
Oh. Surely it was just some villain who has since fled the scene.
I'll keep an eye out, sir. Just nobody wander far, you understand?
Perhaps it would have been more comforting to believe the culprit was some stranger, a shadow in the night that was now long gone. But it just wouldn't have fit the evening's theme, now would it?
No.
I had a hunch that there was something more afoot in the old manor that night, and I certainly wasn't going to trust anyone else to properly figure it out.
All right, we need to wrap this one up here because we're out of time for this episode. But I am looking forward to coming back and
No, what a tragedy. What a cruel twist of fate. And to think, tonight was meant to be an evening of joy and making merry.
Anyway, I am looking forward to coming back to it. I love how it's so camp. It's so camp and theatrical. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those stage play scenes from Pathologic. Where everything's like over dramatic and shit. I love it. I love it. I'm curious to see what happens next. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.